The Art of Being Ruled. Wyndham Lewis. Original publication 1926. 1989 edition. Narrated by Skeptical Waves. Part 11. Proudhon and Rousseau. Chapter 3. Proudhon's attack on Rousseau. The pages in which Proudhon expresses himself so forcibly on the subject of J. Rousseau occur in his Idée générale de la révolution au siècle, in the 4e étude, in which the principle of authority is analyzed at length. Proudhon begins by confuting the fashionable doctrine of direct government or simplified government, legislation direct of Rittinghausen and considerant, abolition de l'autorité par la simplification du gouvernement of de Girardon. He shows that if you abolish authority you must simultaneously and by the same gesture abolish government. For government and authority are one. He then shows how organized human society has so far turned in a circle, monarchy, aristocracy, democracy being the names of the principal segments. As soon as the last death rattle of the last revolutionary fanatic at the last and most desperate barricade has ceased, the fanfare is sounded, and the dictator or emperor steps onto the scene once more, with the clockwork aplomb of the figures of a musicale box. This is owing, he thinks, to the préjugé gouvernemental, the fixed idea of the necessity for a government of some sort, which, in an earlier part of this essay, we saw him tracing to the obsessing paradigm of the family. So it is that the people, in their revolutions, have always, instead of a protector, provided themselves with a tyrant. Here you have, for thousands of years, says Proudhon, this same old theory of direct government, which has always given every tribune and agitator what he required. It has been the theory up the sleeve of every revolutionary demagogue. Direct government, gouvernement direct, does not date from Rousseau. It dates from the foundation of human society. Here is how the old reasoning has always gone. No more hereditary royalty. No more presidency. No more representation. No more delegation. No more alienation of power. Direct government. The people. In the permanent exercise of its sovereignty. That is the order of ideas or emotions invariably followed. Dictatorship of the proletariat is the formula today. The Russian Revolution would have fully confirmed Proudhon's forecast for all revolutions that retain the sentiment or idea for authority, that allow the notion of power of any sort to enter into their schemes. What is there, he asks, at the bottom of this ritornelle that people have just taken up again as a new and revolutionary thesis? What is there in it unknown to Athenians, Boeotians, Lacedaemonians, Romans? Nothing, he concludes. Direct government will be the prelude, in modern Europe, to Caesarism. An empire, with or without a Napoleon, is what is in store. So against this menacing political sophistry, as he considers it, of direct government he sets up his notion of a pact or of the social contract. The contrast between pact or contract and power, government, cannot be missed. And so he arrives at Rousseau. What is the social contract? He asks. The social contract is an agreement concluded between man and man, agreement from which results what we call society. J. Rousseau, he then affirms, understood nothing at all about the social contract. It was a closed book to him, and his social contract was a malignant farce. The idea of contract precludes that of government. If into the idea of contract any leonine conditions were allowed to insinuate themselves, if a portion of the community, by reason of such a contract, found themselves in a subaltern position, exploited by another portion, then this contract would be nothing but a conspiracy against the liberty and the well-being of the most ignorant, the weakest, and the most numerous. Rousseau's contract is a contract of that nature, he asserts. And he warns his readers dramatically against this treacherous impostor. Méfiez-vous de cette philosophie, de cette politique, de ce socialisme à la Rousseau. Sa philosophie est toute en phrases, et ne couvre que la vide, sa politique est pleine de domination. Quant à ses idées sur la société, elle déguise à peine leur profonde hypocrisy. Beware of this philosophy, of these politics, of this socialism for la Rousseau. His philosophy is phrases only, masking a void, his politics are full of domination. As to his ideas on social questions, they scarcely disguise his profound hypocrisy. P.J. Proudhon's indignation with J. Rousseau knows no bounds. He says that the remains of the master who in the frenzy of his lubricity sent his bastards to the foundling hospital, for the famous bastards come into it, should be dragged by the outraged people from their dignified burial place in the catacombs of the Pantheon, where they repose glorious and venerated. If the people understood the meaning of the words liberty, justice, morality, reason, society, order, this is what they would do. They would carry the tomb of Rousseau by assault and drag his execrable remains, with cries of righteous indignation, to Mafoucawn. The vogue of Rousseau has cost France more gold, more blood, more shame, than the hated reign of the three famous harlots, Catiline I, Catiline II, Catiline III. As to the contrat social itself, it is a pact of hatred, only equally by Rousseau's depraved and disgusting notions on the subject of education. It is this same pact of hatred, he exclaims, this monument of incurable misanthropy, it is this coalition of the property barons, of those of commerce and of industry, against the disinherited of the proletariat, this oath of civil war, in short, that Rousseau, with an audacity that I should qualify as blackguardly, celerate, if one believed in the genius of this man, calls social contract. But had the virtuous and sensitive Jean-Jacques aimed at perpetuating discord among men, could he have gone about it a better way than by offering them, as a contract of union, this charter of their eternal antagonism? Watch him at work. You will find in his theory of government the same spirit that animated his theory of education. As he is as a schoolmaster, so is he as a statesman. The pedagogue preached isolation, the publicist sows division.